Welcome back everybody to the channel. This morning, Wizards of the Coast just dropped a banned and restricted announcement, so we're going to take a look at that as a blind reaction. But before we get into it, things that I'm hoping we see on this ban list. I think everybody's eyes are on Modern. I think people are looking for a One Ring banning, which seems to be the most obvious ban. The card's like 60% of the meta. It's actively warping games. Hand attack's bad. Board wipes are bad, it's hard to interact because decks will just slam One Ring and dig their way out of it. People are also hoping that Boros Energy, and by extension Mardu Energy as well, both variants, energy in general, gets hit. I know some people have said Guide of Souls, some people have said Ocelot Pride. I think Flage is probably the most obvious. It's yet another piece that allows these decks to grind. As for the other formats, I mean, Standard, people seem to like Standard for the most part. I'm not expecting too much out of that. Pioneer seems to be in a relatively decent spot. Wizards doesn't care about Pioneer anymore, obviously. So Legacy, Psychic Frog, Reanimate, maybe Entomb, maybe Grief. So I don't know a huge amount about Legacy, but from what I've heard, those are some of the ones I'm expecting in Legacy as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. Standard, no changes, no surprise there. I really didn't expect anything to happen to Standard. People seem to like it right now. There's definitely quite a few archetypes roaming around. I know some people don't like the ramp deck as much, but it's not dominant or anything like that. I am actually really happy that ramp is back in Standard. I think it's a really fun archetype, and I have a lot of fun memories casting Zakama in Standard in a Naya ramp deck. Pioneer. Jegantha the Wellspring gets banned. It's super free as long as you don't run something that's like double monocolor pips, and so a lot of those cards are just not being played so that you can play Jegantha. It's a big thing in those decks that you can just kind of free roll it. It kind of reminds me of Luris in Modern, kind of gatekeeping out permanent CMC 3 or higher. Not as bad, obviously, but Jegantha, I guess, was just getting a little too free in Pioneer, so they decided to clamp down on that. All right, Modern. The One Ring. All right, we knew the One Ring was coming for sure. Thank God. I know a lot of people were going to be real mad about the format if the One Ring didn't get banned. They were just like going to jump ship. It's in like 60% of decks, and they should have banned it with Nadu, and they just decided not to. So now you have So they have these games now where it's just slam One Ring to dig yourself out of any interaction. And because of that, hand attack got a lot worse. We banned Amped Raptor? What? Like, I'm gonna get to their reasons, but why? Who gives a shit about Amped Raptor, dude? Like, oh man, 2-1 for 2 with First Strike that can sometimes flip into something. This is not the thing pushing energy over the edge, I kind of assure you that. It's probably, I don't know, Flage Titan of Nature's Wrath. All right, hold on, I'm opening this. Not sponsored by Alani, but I hope we are someday. It's not the problem. It's not even close. Oh my God. I've been joking on the socials for the last like 2 weeks that they should ban Thoughtseize. This is like the energy equivalent. It's like, oh, well, you know, like I don't agree with banning Guide of Souls or Ocelot Pride, but it's like, they have more of a reason to ban those than fucking Amped Raptor. Come on! You know, we've determined that the energy deck is pretty strong. Guide of Souls and Ocelot Pride allow them to run an amazing, like, grind game, and Flage is able to come back from the graveyard and just be a really fast clock in the end game. So with all this in mind, we have decided to ban Amped Raptor! So, like, Flage has to be on here then, right? Because, like, why would you ban Amped Raptor and not ban Flage? It has to be on here, right? Let's continue. Okay, Jegantha. Now, unlike in Pioneer, this is one that I was hearing floating around in Modern. It's even freer in Modern right now. It's just a 5/5 for 5 that you can pull out of your sideboard for 3 on a turn that you're not doing anything. Companions were not a mistake. I agree with somebody in my comment section of the last video. Print more companions. I will not be elaborating. That's it. Okay. So, you hit the One Ring 3 months too late. You hit Jegantha, sure, whatever, yeah, fine. You hit Amped Raptor, and then you leave Flage completely alone. Like, at least they banned the One Ring, right? But Amped Raptor is just a bad hit. It's just, oh my God. In what world do you think Amped Raptor is the solution? We'll get to the reasons. Maybe let's just continue to Legacy. Let's move on. Oh, there's more to Modern. Mox Opal? Okay, sorry, I didn't elaborate. I didn't think anything should be unbanned, personally. Like, everything seemed fine, and like, if you're gonna unban something, I don't think anybody had Mox Opal on their radar. In what world? my god. Here's the thing, right? I did my unplayable affinity video, and then a little bit later after that video, people started toying around with a affinity list that was blue-white. It had more interaction, was able to play a better game, didn't just fold. Who cares? You have Mox Opal. You can fold to anything. It doesn't matter. It's another free artifact that's insanely good and allows you to turbo into things like Kappa Cannoneer and Thought Monitor even faster. And like, yeah, again, Affinity hasn't been great recently, but like, that doesn't mean we should unban Mox Opal. I really didn't expect the Mox Opal. All right, so there might be more. I really thought that was it. Let's continue. Green Sun Zenith. Oh my god. There's a lot of whataboutism with Green Sun Zenith, and it could very easily come to fruition because it's a powerful card. One of the most powerful things the card could do is find Dryad Arbor on turn 1, right? But then you also have to factor in the fact that that's not all it can do. If that's all it could do, it'd be fine. But it can scale. In my head, it's like Amulet Titan, This is a pretty big tutor, potentially for them. It allows them to find a land in the form of Dryad Arbor. It allows them to find other cheaper pieces like Dryad of the Elysian Grove. This one I'm a little more cautiously optimistic about. Like, I want to believe that this card is going to help toolbox decks come back into the meta, maybe like green-based creature decks. But at the same time, this could also just make like decks like Amulet Titan incredibly, incredibly strong. I'm cautiously optimistic. I hope this one works out. I don't know if it will. More unbannings? More unbannings? Or are we done? Please, my heart cannot take much more of this. So we've learned nothing. Yes, graveyard decks, like dedicated graveyard combo decks, not the best. But this is the same logic as fucking Mox Opal. You don't unban it. You don't unban Faithless Looting. Maybe it works out, maybe it works out. Maybe the stars align, but I'm really not thinking so here. So Wizards seems to be going on this crusade of this archetype isn't doing well. Let's unban their best enabler that was played in basically everything in its heyday. Now with this context, maybe Mox Opal is sensible. Why do you unban Faithless Looting and not ban Flage? I guess Phoenix could theoretically be playable, but I'm not sure it is anymore. I think it's a little too fair compared to what you should be doing. Okay, all right. They're just stupid. They just don't care about their competitive formats anymore. Hyperbole aside, let me explain why splintertwin unbanning is a bad idea, right? This is just caving to the boomers. It's always been a meme, unban splintertwin, unban splintertwin. But the problem is the people who want splintertwin unbanned are from the 2015 era where you were just like throwing this onto a pestermite and going off, right? And that was like the best you could do. You're telling me that that's how they're gonna play it now? The modern boomers are going to look at this and go, oh, just like the good old days. And then they're gonna realize that people are going to be slamming this with all the broken cards Modern has come out with recently, and then they're gonna be like, oh, not like that, I was hoping we'd revert to 2014 Modern. All these unbans, right? They make it look like the format's going to return to tradition or whatever. We've got all these pieces back that were legal before, like about 10 years ago now. These were like all going strong. The problem is, the format has gotten a few new cards since then. You really think people are just going to go back to playing their quirky little F&M brews? No, you're gonna ruin competitive. People are gonna be playing this with every card that people have complained about for the last 5 years. I'm generally of the opinion that unbannings are like a good thing. It makes the format stretch its wings a little bit. These aren't how you do it. Like, obviously I'm hopeful that these cards slot in nicely into modern and current year and they don't mess with anything. But at the same time, I don't think that's going to happen. There can't be more unbannings. There can't be more unbannings. Okay, we're done with unbanning. Okay. So, all right, Legacy. All right, thank God. Okay, Psychic Frog banned. For all the people who play Legacy out there, good. I'm glad for it. I don't play Legacy, but I'm happy for you. I know a lot of people have wanted this card gone for a long time. Just does too much. It's a linchpin of reanimation strategies because not only does it give them a discard outlet, but it also gives a discard outlet on a 2-mana big body that can then give itself flying and also cantrips when it hits your opponent. It just does a lot. Vexing Bauble. Yes, people have been complaining about this one a lot. I've noticed that the problem with Vexing Bauble seems to be that in theory, this card works with like stopping force cards and other free spells, when in reality you can run it alongside them and just mull for one of them. But also Mystic Forge decks have been massive in Legacy right now, and Vexing Bauble has given these decks just like total force protection, which has been really hard to deal with. I feel like this one was designed with good intentions, but just kind of fell flat. All right, Vintage, no changes. Who's surprised? Alchemy, no changes. Explorer, they also banned Jegantha the Wellspring, keeps in line with everything else about Jegantha 2 free. Historic, no changes. Timeless, no changes. Brawl, no changes. There's too many formats. All right, let's read why. So the thoughts they're giving for Jegantha and Pioneer, those kind of echo my thoughts. It's a little too free, but at the same time, it's hurting diversity a bit, because if you're a monocolored 2-pipped card, you're just not worth playing, because why would you be played over Jegantha? All right, Modern. Our previous actions in August addressed the most glaring issue with the format, Nadu Winged Wisdom, but things haven't gotten much better. You don't say. It's, oh my god. This line's stupid. Our players are the backbone of competitive Magic. We can observe tournament results, analyze the metagame, and dig into win rate numbers all day long. But it's all of you who are playing these formats, and at the end of the day, it's our job to ensure you're having as much fun as possible. That line reads to me as, hey, dumb idiots, you're playing wrong, and you're just feeling about it, and our facts don't care about your feelings. But I guess we'll concede to you, what metric of data do you have to show that the One Ring was fine, but you know, people weren't having fun, so I guess we'll ban it. Specifically, Modern Horizon sets have made a sizable impact on the format. Whose fault is that? In the August announcement, we had stated that there wasn't a dominant One Ring deck and that it appeared in a variety of strategies, even propping up some more fringe archetypes. Oh yeah, the classic, oh it's fine guys, everyone's running it. We believe it is clear, as it has been for many of you, that Modern would be a more enjoyable format without its inclusion, and thus, the One Ring is banned in Modern. I like that. A more enjoyable format. Not a healthier format, a more enjoyable format. We're going for fun. This card was actually fine in our data, but you all want to have fun so much that I guess we'll get rid of it. This feels slightly backhanded. They're banning Amped Raptor for the same reason they didn't ban the One Ring. They're like, we considered, you know, Guide of Souls, Ajani, Flage. We picked Amped Raptor because all of those cards, they get played in other things. I don't think Flage is going to be as bad, but like, come on. Amped Raptor. Jegantha, same thing as with Pioneer, just banning it makes things a little more diverse. It's a little too free. The bans above should do a decent job of making Modern more fun and balanced, but could it be even better? Not with what you did. It is worth noting that this is the beginning of a new era. Oh no. Many of you have given feedback time and again about the good old days of Modern before Modern Horizons started increasing the power level of the format, making iconic decks obsolete. Oh no! After long consideration, we've chosen an initial list of cards to unban. We'll closely monitor how these cards impact competitive Modern events over the upcoming RC season, and come March 31st, 2025, evaluate things like so in 3 months, these cards have oh no! I was kind of joking. I was speculating. The good old days of Modern. Oh no! They're actually caving to boomers and Commander players who don't play Modern but see a hot button thing from certain influencers and just complain and parrot that. Referring to Modern back when these cards were unbanned as the good old days is those people who are like, you know, back in the good old days, we were allowed to say slurs. Did we make Modern a better place? No. Can we handle a wave of nostalgic and infamous cards to re-enter Modern? No. Was there something we released that's making Modern less fun? Yes. Only time will tell! Our expectations are that the reintroduction of Mox Opal will give rise to several interesting artifact strategies. Like, compared to the rest of the list, sure, whatever, I agree with you. I want to get off this train. Green Sun Zenith has been banned since 2011, banned during a time where green decks were too strong. Consistency, that was over a decade ago. Can elves make a resurgence? No. Maybe old favorites like Triad Arbor and Primeval Titan will be entering more often. Do you play your own game? Titan never went away! Faithless looting. It was clear that Hogak Arisen Necropolis was stronger than intended. One of the cards that died for Hogak's sins was Faithless Looting. No, it died for its own sins. Hogak was not the reason it was banned. It was in everything. But Faithless Looting had propped up in a multitude of strategies. Arclight Phoenix, Hollow One, Dredge, and even some fair mid-range decks featuring cards like Young Pyromancer and Seasoned Pyromancer all played Faithless Looting. Please don't use Mardu Pyromancer as the argument to unban it. That's such a bad argument. Much like with the discussion of Mox Opal, we've introduced several anti-graveyard options into Modern since Looting's removal, namely Endurance and Bogart Trawler. Yeah, I guess the green answer could come down turn 0, but Trawler's a 3-drop. Come on. It's a question for the ages. Would Splinter Twin be strong in today's Modern? Yes. Answers exist that once didn't, including several 0-mana cards that can keep you alive if your opponent decides to tap out for their 4-mana enchantment. Solitude, Force of Negation, Force of Vigor, and Flare of Denial have all seen competitive Modern play. Each card was justifiably removed from Modern in the past, but times change and we've realized that Modern isn't what it used to be. Splinter Twin is symbolic of an era of Modern that people look back on fondly and is now free. Enjoy the memes. Oh no! I hate this. Oh, they have Solitude, Force of Negation, Force of Vigor, Flare of Denial. What a meme answer. You think the Splinter Twin decks won't just run those? There's this mentality that these broken cards won't be run in the decks that are using the old, now unbanned cards. There's this mentality that, like, those decks are good frozen in time, and people aren't gonna, like, slot in all the what are considered design mistakes. You don't need a combo. Just put it on a Solitude, and your creatures are never existing. Oh my god. Okay, so Modern, I don't like to be a hyperbolic person, except when I'm trying to be a caricature of myself, and I'm doing that here for sure, but unironically, I think this is a bad idea. I think that their mentality for this whole new era thing of like, we should just let the 2015 cards loose and then the boomers can rejoice and then they'll be paired alongside, you know, 2024 Modern design and they'll be mad again and be like, oh, this isn't how it went back when I was playing, not like this. I think that's a bad idea. I think that's bad for the competitive integrity of the format and legacy of the format. I probably know the least about. I'm just gonna agree here. Yep, plays extremely low in Reanimator, must answer, circumvents anti-graveyard. Dimir Murktide was good as well. They didn't want to ban Entomber Reanimate because they thought that it wouldn't solve the issue of them having the fair game plan. They want it to be an unfair deck without the fair game plan, which, like, sure, fair enough. Then they go on to Vexing Bauble. Vexing Bauble was taking out the force checks of the format. That's holding the format together, and the second they added a card that easily shut off force check, the format really started to deteriorate a bit. They're keeping an eye on Nadu as well, because it's been doing decently. Okay, maybe just play Standard. Maybe just play Standard for a bit. Maybe it all works out, you know? Maybe actually this was a good idea and Modern works out really well. I think the next 3 months of Modern are going to be hell. But we're in an era now where we have so many content creators like grinding Modern and other formats that things get solved very quickly. And even in a format like Modern, I don't think it's gonna take too long before people figure out what the best thing is with these new bans and unbans. And once they do, I think the format's gonna be really bad for the next 3 months, personally. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully this all works out. I think these are bad ideas all around, and I think the mentality of catering to days gone by is a really stupid mentality for a competitive format. Thank you for tuning in to the blind ban list reaction. Hopefully this is good for you. Maybe it's bad for you. Let me know your thoughts below on what you think's gonna happen with the different formats and these changes. And until next time, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.